happens if we just start the stream? Is it gonna preview us in? Now granted, we are recording. Restream, where did you go? Okay, so it says it's online to stream now. What do I do? Wait for the preview to start? Okay. So let's do this. We're going to go to Restream, even though no, I'm not doing this each time. Let's hit done and click go live. If there is no preview. Oh, dang it. I deleted the wrong thing. So 20. Yo, here's what we're gonna do. Negative. We're gonna load up Creator Studio Classic if it's not there. Skip, you can keep, you know what? I will keep deleting my channel. Let's go see if we're live with some crazy ass description and title. And we are. Okay, let me put this description in, and then we'll will do it to it. And what did I want to put? What did I want to put? Tell me again. HP. HP Pavilion 15. There's that thing, DK0068WM. Let's explain. Dan. All right. Let's fix my friend's computer. Oh, Restream. Restream is the thing. We got to go there and what do we have to do? Go to Restream and we have to kick on Facebook. Alright, let's do it. Facebook. As soon as they go online, we will start this stream up. Online, everything is looking good. Alright. Let's bring that there. Let's grab Restream chat. Alright, we will go to... Alright, everything's online. Alright, let's do it. What are we doing? After hours? Alright, we're back. We're back. Now we got some fun stuff to do today. I realize there's probably a camera at least partially in my face. Alright, let's do this. We are gonna flip over to the Sony and clean my camera lenses, make it look good so it takes good pictures of the stuff that I want to fix. Alright, I'm just kidding. I'm actually putting it away. But how bad would that suck? If you can't hear me, well, that's a tragedy. We had to get some heat worked out. I'm actually gonna see if we can get... Let's turn that off. I don't like heaters that make noise. This is our objective. we need to handle this thing and get it done. So let's lay it on its back very easily, as you can see. Oh, hold up. Let's change our frame rate so that doesn't flash like a crazy nut. We got this black spot here. That's the goal. It actually did not bleed out anymore. It did when I flexed the display, like to take it out, and we had a couple lines, but those lines have disappeared. And that spot's actually, it's not bad. That's a completely usable display to test stuff. I wouldn't put that in something. We do have, here, hold on, let's go ahead and shut this down. Don't want to dox people, so. Oh, we're going to be waiting a minute. Update and shut down anyway. Yeah, we don't want to throw people's name out there, but we know whose computer this is. But let's take a moment and look at this thing here. Actually, let me get one of the trusty black mats. We don't want to get anything stuck to this display. That does have prints on it from touching it without gloves, but we have a protector to peel off, so that will be good. You'll see a ring light there, but just let's turn it out. Let's take a moment and zoom in, see if we can get a look. Look at the amount of tape that they have around the edge of this thing. I understand that's probably blurry. Let's see if that makes a difference. We'll set it down. You're actually seeing more reflection than anything. That's how little tape is around the edge of this holding it together, though. It's just that wee little bit. And that was the problem. This is a 15.6 inch display, but where it's different from your average laptop is HP went and did something kind of similar to like Dell with the Infinity Edge display. So let's set this up here and zoom this back out so we can get a look at everything. We're just going to deal with the ring light for now. Okay, so here is a normal 15.6 inch display, and then here is the HP. If we look at the edge, you can see that you got a good quarter inch on each side. So yeah, they shrunk this down a little bit. It might be under 15.6 inches. I think the diagonal's still roughly the same. But yeah, they barely have any tape coming up over the edge, which is what they have to do to get such a thin bezel like on the laptop around it. Nice, but hey, we don't have to. These ones usually have a thick border, and you can see that it runs around there. It's usually always thicker on one side. For some reason the screen goes over and it's just wider on this side and it's skinny on the other edges. You got your circuitry always usually on the bottom with these LED displays. Funny enough, this is the screen I think that we tested the laptop with, the one that we're getting ready to work on. Anyhow, yeah, that's the difference between a normal 15 inch display and the crazy 15 inch displays that goes into these laptops, like these HP gaming notebooks, the Dell XPS 15 inch ones. Maybe the 13s have a similar style display, I don't know, but I know the XPS 15s, because they literally have this bezel the whole way around on the XPS 15s, and then the webcam was put down here in a horrible spot. I think they started putting them back up here and made it just a little thicker like that. Regardless, let's get to work. We got that spot to remove. And which Phillips? Well, that one, that'll fit good enough for now. Should anyways. Too bad we already saw this torn down just to get the model number. Should have waited. But hey, we'll recycle a little bit of content for now. Oh, does anybody remember this stuff when we took it out? It has stuck to itself on the one, ruined it, and then here is the other one that we did manage to save. Have a couple dings in the edge, but it's some very stretchy stuff. I found out basically what it was called, kind of what I was calling it. It's stretch release tape or toffee tape. We found something, I believe the same thing, but ours is clear instead of white. We got a 100-foot roll of it, well, 98 feet, and it's clear, and it was only half as thick this way, but it was twice as wide. So instead of a 1/4 inch, we got 1/2 inch, and we're going to fold it in half to get our whatever thickness that is. It's not a 64th, that's probably a 32nd. So yeah. But we have clear instead of the white. Alright, let's find out where is our magic tool. Where did we gain access to this thing at before? Did anybody remember? Was it the back? No. Is it this side? Yes. I don't know if I think I've mentioned it, but we'll talk about it for a moment. If you open a computer up, the first time you open it, it's generally, most computers are gonna like snap apart, and it's, if you hear stuff breaking and you got evidence of pieces falling, then yeah, you're doing something definitely wrong. But if all you're doing is pulling a laptop apart and you're hearing some pops and, you know, plastic popping apart, I wouldn't say, as long as you're not breaking anything or any of the little latch points where it mounts, you should be okay. But the more you tear it apart, if you tear it apart a second, third, fourth time, it's going to come apart marginally easier a couple times in. So you will notice that if you tear the same computer down, like same exact one down more than once. There we go, access. Yes, we'll keep that out of the way. We don't want to spill any soda on this thing. It's too nice. Alright, we got quite a bit. Hey, telemarketers. I don't know who you are, and there's a live stream coming on that I want to watch, so we're going to get busy with this thing. Let's remove the few easy things that we know we can. We'll pull out the SSD. Did we have to pull the Wi-Fi card? Yes, we did. Alright, we got those two things out. Before we go much further, and we actually start disconnecting stuff that's got possible power running, we're going to go for the battery. Not bad. Very cold, even though we had it off for a few moments. Ribbons. What a tear down this thing was the first time. I'm just remembering. Black screws on black, silver on silver, except for one black we had there. It was kind of out of place, unless we put a silver in a black somewhere. We'll keep these all out. Oh, yeah, let's pull this. Right, that was what was holding us in. Take that out, I can't remember. We're literally just going to throw all the screws and components that go together with each other off in little piles. Whenever tearing something down, such as this, like say we had torn this down and didn't come back to it till now and didn't mark any of the screws where anything went, just like no information, just threw all the screws in one of the plastic packs to keep track of them. Working back through that now would have been, pretty sure, an absolute nightmare. How do we get these up? Okay, you lift it up. That's one, and then there's one here. You can rotate it right off. So after you take your screws out, you're going to pick up on this little tab here, and you can get it off the catch and then just rotate the whole thing forward. That's the best method. The first time I tore this down, I had to go in along the sides, and it did work to pop it off that way, but upon reassembling and the first time and putting a couple screws, having to put screws in that I had forgotten. We did that live on the stream. Yeah. So once you get in there, let's see, can we get in on this? You can kind of see there's a screw hole here. You have the screw hole where the screw come out, and then there's this little spot there that has a peg that sticks up that this latches over. So it's kind of like a catch. What you want to do is go in right beside the peg, lift it up, and that will let you push that out over the peg. Once you do that, you can just literally rotate the whole thing forward. It comes off, and you're good to go. Alright, let's think about this for a moment. We're going to start with, we have a few more black screws. We need to get these metal plates off. And we will put them with each other as well. I think I'm actually going to change the location of this to up here. What next? Let's start disconnecting everything that we need out of the way. We do have to lift the motherboard, so we'll get, what is it, our trackpad and our keyboard. This is a backwards one. The latch is on the opposite side of the ribbon cable. We covered that before, I think. One, two, three. And then we have to get out our DC jack there. Wi-Fi. We need to unroute all these wires that go through to let our heatsink fan assembly come up off of here. Don't forget your metal plate here, and it covers the DC jack. I'm not sure that we need to take that off, but I know I took it off last time, so we're going to do it a second time. Another important one, do not forget the little ribbon cable if you're doing one of these models on the corner of the board here. That's a very sneaky spot to have one. And if you didn't see this blue tab sticking out, got your motherboard unscrewed after taking the fan assembly, the whole cooling unit off with the fans, and went to lift the motherboard, you would almost for sure, depending on what angle you pick the board up, rip that ribbon cable. You don't want to do that, because then you'll be waiting on another part to arrive. And finally, let's get our display. Nope, here's our trackpad. So the other one, possibly, I think it might be a lighted keyboard. I'm not sure. And let's start with the silver screws now. Basically everywhere there's a silver screw with a white arrow pointing to it on the motherboard, and you may be able to skip this daughter board on the side entirely. We did detach the ribbon cable, so we got those first few silver. Let's go for the fans. One here. Is there one under? No. We already got it. Okay. We'll put the ones for the fans with the silver ones and that looks to be everything. We now need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. I'm not going to say now, computers over the years, historically, if that's even a word, more commonly, the screws attached to like the heatsink and fan assemblies, the ones that anchored it down over the actual processor or the graphics processor, CPU, GPU, they usually had little like C-clips holding the screw so it stayed permanently in. Not always, and it's not always today that you see that they do or don't. It's just the manufacturer, but a lot of computers used to be like exactly like that. Alright, what are we forgetting? Can we just pick this right up? Take note to see where all your little, what do we want to even call them right now? Like little silicone pads, where they are. It's good to just take note in case one would fall off. You kind of have a general idea where they were. We did have some good sealing on our thermal compound. It did squeeze out all the edges just a little, and covered everything else. So we'll clean that off and reapply when we go to build this back up. Can this come out yet? No, we have to lift the motherboard and then the speaker, I believe. Alright, so let's take a final look around for any silver screws. We do have one there, but that is for the hinge. Let's take a look. It is floating freely. We undid our important ribbon cable that we didn't want to forget. I don't believe there are any other. No. Motherboard's out. Let's pull speaker assembly. Set it out of the way. How did we do this last time? We forced those up by hand when we did it. Alright, let's say this time we're going to open the laptop normally to get it at roughly whatever angle. This is going to be some funny business as we have to hold it. And we'll take out the few screws holding the hinges on. Alright, one side is free. This is where you don't want to drop anything. If you do, you will likely bend a hinge, or you could get lucky and it'll hit and just fold shut. Yeah, don't drop anything. The same as the motherboard, where we were taking screws out with the white arrows pointing to the screw hole. They do have little arrows pointing to where screws would go on this. For example, we took out 3 over here. We took out the one here. Here. There was no screw in this other hole. No screw here. Same as not one here, but there was one here, and then here. With that, we're going to use a little bit of pressure to pick up. All of the screws are free at this time. And we don't want to drop the lid and break anything else. Let's lay this down as we had to kind of work this piece out. Alright, and I believe how I did this was just we had just opened it up a little further, and it should let you separate the two. It's another part out of the way. Now comes the fun thing, or the fun part. This is where we have to open this unit up. I don't think it's ready. Not ready to come apart. We'll get that one last. Let's start on the top. Alright, we got an in right there. Uh-oh, my phone's dinging. Emergency, emergency. Keep in mind that this did have tape around it and it's been sitting put together, so some of it may be stuck back to the display. And if we happen to peel off any of the foil tape on this display, we do want to take it off of the adhesive part of the bezel. Like right here, we're stuck. Pry as little as possible. You got super thin bezels. This is nothing even close to like a normal laptop. They're super thin, and you don't want to pry and break your bezel and have a crack in it if you're tearing one of these down. Alright, everything is loose there. We're going to attempt to start working our way along the bottom edge here. You have two places to work at. This edge and then this edge here, because there's adhesive holding the display together. Once you get the first snap to let one of the corners release, you should be okay to insert something and start working the rest of it loose. At this point, you can get this center part to start lifting. That's when your bottom will come apart. And you may not want to pry too far, too quick, as we still have to get this side loose. What we can do is go in and stick that there. And work on this edge now. Alright, get both sides up, bezel free, none of the mounts broken. Our piece of foil tape that we ripped off the display last time did stay. we have fairly good coverage the whole way around, but it's not perfect, so we may take a moment and peel off. I think we're going to peel off all this adhesive. When we go to rebuild it, we'll peel it off and put new adhesive on so this sticks 100% of the way around the new monitor. Alright, oh yes, and next, and this is where we had lots of fun with that stuff that we had to get out. And we did just happen to leave some tape right here to hopefully, it's not the same stretchy tape, but I left these up to be able to get at it to help possibly lift the display out. Depending how stuck this is, we'll see. The top should be 100% loose, possibly. And indeed it is. There was one little spot. Did we loosen the cable? We did, kind of. That is our webcam. All right. Alright, our display is out. Did they send us a different revision? No, just who made the original panel. Funny, nobody can tell me about the original panel. They are the same size, so we're good. Let's flip this over. We need to get our cable out. We did not peel this last time, just to simply leave it stuck together and as tacky as possible for when we put the new one in. Don't pull too hard when pulling these. That's another thing. If you ever change the screen, you'll know you don't want to rip all the shielding loose on your LCD cable, I think. Yeah. Alright. There we have an LCD cable. Let's get this out of the way so we have somewhere to lay our new screen. We'll put it there and get this new cable connected and start routing it back into the lid. Actually, I think we're going to do this upside down. A lot easier to see when plugging your cable in. We don't know where this goes yet. We're just gonna kind of tack it there to hold it so it's not falling and getting tangled. And we'll get back to that. Let's grab our lid. Alright. Before we get too crazy there, just want to test the fit. It does fit good. We're going to set it in the top and get this lined up the best we can for connecting to the webcam so we know it's about right. The top does have a little bit of adhesive for sticking it in place. I think that should be it. Somewhere in that neighborhood anyways. It will go over. Oh, much too far. Much too far. Alright, we'll set it there. Get it plugged in. Will that give us enough? No. You could go and route the cable ahead of time, I suppose. Alright, at that point, I'm going to call it good. We need to dump this display back out. Get our tape out of there. Now we get to mess with some fun stuff. Again, all we stuck this in was LCD tape in 3 tiny pieces, or just your common tape that you would put like a digitizer back in the front of a tablet or something with, but we used tiny pieces in it. It's actually tacked down pretty good. Now we're going to use similar stuff to what we took out. Very similar to the stuff we took out, only it is not white, it is clear. instead of white. I did go ahead and pull the tabs off of the white toffee tape, or how do you want to say it? It was this stuff. Remember this? We pulled this and it stretched out about a mile from under the display. Took the black tabs off the end we could pull here and attach them to our clear tape, which doesn't look super clear. It looks kind of yellowish, but I did touch it a little, so we're going to use this the best we can without stretching it, and we're going to run it up as far as possible. I thought it knocked the mic out. Right, let's get our tweezers. We're going to lay this out. Now this tape, like I said, I will show you the roll in a moment. It will never work in a million years. This tape was double the width and half as thick as our original. Let me go ahead and let our little tab stick up there. That's where we had access to it, and try and route this to the same spot as it was before. Just lay it out nice and flat. I don't know how far they took it up, so I'm going to stop it at that silver stuff. I suppose we could peel it later, but we got to try and not stretch it as little as possible. This is some sticky tape. We'll cut that. We have our little pull tab down there. Where did the tape go? There it is. So we ended up picking up a 100-foot roll of this stuff, and you can see, we'll compare it to a piece of white. So it is super thin, about half as thick as this. I can't even really see it. It's that. Darken this back up some. There is tape on that roll, I promise you. Let's try turning the light off. Okay, so tape on the roll. We got white tape there. We have that there, but it is like twice as wide. So I just folded it in half, and once it was doubled up, that got us to about the thickness we needed. I searched for a few hours. I could not find identical white toffee tape or stretch release tape. But we did get close. I did pull the tabs off of the other one. Let's see, where is this going to split the best at? And you knew it was going to rip crooked, didn't you? Oh, you wrecked it. You wrecked it already. Oh my goodness. I really got to get this unstuck right now. And I don't know how. Or I just got to make another one of the two. Because this stuff is not forgiving in the least. Alright, we're making another one live on the scene. We actually might have to, well, at least keep our white paper for length. We have to split this tab apart and get it off of the tape, which should prove easier than the first time. That white stuff was a nightmare. Alright, and as it stretches, it does release. We got our tab. Let's see what my late breaking news came through. Nothing. Okay. Just more stuff. Is that more of that? Yeah, there's more of that tape stuck in there, stuck to the I think we have one or two more pieces of just the end, the little piece of the toffee tape still stuck in there. And we should be able to separate that tab very easily, but I do know we have to get all that stuff out first. Let's keep gluing the finger and my glove together. Why not? All right. Almost last piece, I think. Hello, friend. How are you? Yeah, it's getting late. All right, let's find out. Alright, good enough. We're going to put this on some... Those are great tweezers. I've never seen that. I legit just dropped them and they stuck. That's great. Alright, we're going to put safekeeping on our slide X-Acto knife. I'm trying to let that seal up around that tape. Alright, we need to make another one. Well, let's see. You know what? had that not happened, I would have gotten away with that 100%. We might actually have this one all ready to go here. Let's see. Can we stick it down without ruining any more? Negative. Alright, we will make a new one. And we do have a white one. We could just use that, but you don't want to make it unmatched. White on one side. And clear on the other. Hopefully with any luck. It's right at the seam where I put it already. This was a task making this stuff too. Or not making, but cutting it. I'm just gotta find, there's my seam, so we need to cut through here. You would think an X-Acto knife is sharp and would cut right through it. Yeah, it cuts through the paper just fine. Doesn't cut through that tape very well at all. The other thing that I did to make it easier to peel the paper was I ran down the center roughly, just a rough guess, down the center of the tape to at least cut the paper. If it folds and doesn't fold in half, that's fine. Or if the tape doesn't split and fold in half perfect, that's fine. It's still going to be the same thickness, but I at least want the paper to peel off. That was the hold up last time with it. Didn't want to release from the actual tape. Alright, there was that attempt. Now, what do we take? We have our label. We'll take a moment and work. We degloved to fold this stuff. So we have a little bit more dexterity, a little bit more aware of what's going on. Alright, that ripped about perfect. Alright, I have the split in it. What I did was took and started folding it in half and just pressing together. And then you have your piece. After it's folded in half, you have your piece. Why? How did it get muted? Did I bump a button? Alright. A good way that I've found to cut this stuff is take and where you want it cut through it a few times, and then start pulling the scrap piece away, stretching it. As you pull and stretch, look at that. As you pull the scrap piece away on the opposite side of the cut, when you get to the cut, it should rip loose, unless you happen to rip the tape like I did. Either way, that's good. Where's that other monitor at? Where did I throw it? Do we have a mark where the tape was stuck? We do. So I'm going to put these two displays close together, line up the tape. Which is there. We need to get our webcam plugged in. Let's set it down and check it. You never can check this stuff too much. I'm certain of that. There. Then we want our webcam to go and be connected. A little mark, and we're going to move this to the other side of that to gain some room. Alright, fair enough. Good, good, good. I'm going to set this in, test that we can actually connect that webcam and move forward. Finally, we have more than enough slack too. So we will be able to plug it in. And stick our tape down after it's plugged in and run our cable. And still have a little bit of room left to maneuver this stuck down nightmare ribbon cable. And that. And that. I'm going to try and lift the adhesive and take a close-up look to make sure that it is plugged all the way in. It is. Take a moment, stick our adhesive back down solidly. We will leave that plugged in. We're going to move our cable, lift up our display from the bottom, if at all possible, and peel the strips on our tape. Because once we drop this, it's going to be stuck. We could stretch it and just, you know, pull it right back out, make some new ones, but I'm not trying to do this all night long. We have one little leftover scraggler piece where we cut out of the lines. Let's go ahead and drop that. And we have access to our two pull tabs here to start stretching the tape. Alright, part of it done. Let's do another part. This should be substantially easier, I hope. I'm going to say I hope. I don't have conclusive proof. We do need a working platform for this one. So let's go off of a heavy box LCD so the platform does not move. Let's see how tough this stuff is to take off. Adhesive and gloves are stupid, let me say that now, but kind of imperative. If your gloves are not dirty, you're not going to be getting oil and stuff, skin, and dirt all over. the adhesive making it less tacky. So it should be very effective. Can we just pull? Nope. Yeah, way to ruin my dream. Give me back that thing. Where'd it go? Alright, it's going to be the dumb move of literally going the whole way around and peeling it all. So let's do it. Times like this is when a time lapse would be awesome. Is this necessary? No. Some displays don't even, some bezels don't even have adhesive except across the bottom, and that's to hold the bezel in against the display to not let dirt and stuff fall in. And some have it on the bottom and just up the sides or the whole way around the display. You don't have to do it, but it's going to make for a nice clean install. Your bezel's going to sit back tight against your LED panel. Why not? Look at that. Like I said, this is my friend's computer. So, he just got it. Loves the thing. We want to make it look as factory as possible. I guess before we go to all this work, we should test it, huh? Ah, well, we're gonna go on faith that, like many times before, our guy who knows a guy who knows a guy computer parts, sent us good parts. How does that sound? You always gotta love the guy who knows a guy businesses. That's the best. Another thing you can do, and I'm going to say be very careful if you do it. You can, one, have a coffee break if you have any. Two, you can run a heat gun, get a little heat on your adhesive, and it usually always peels easier when warm. However, note you are dealing with thin plastic, and sometimes on the front of that thin plastic you may have rubber, so whenever it hits the laptop it don't scratch. That heat could also melt the rubber, warp your plastic, melt the plastic, burn it. So use very, very low heat, or just don't do it at all and take the time to scrape it off. Alright. This side's a nightmare compared to the other one. Maybe they run adhesive the whole way down the side, or maybe I overlooked something, but I don't remember that side being near the nightmare that this one is. Of course, I didn't do that whole side yet, so. Another thing you might be able to try to do, which I really don't want to do it, I don't like getting on parts, and then you got a little bit of cleanup involved, but is using Goo Gone, but that will help you scrape off adhesive. Awesome. However, there is a little cleanup involved and it can get messy. Fragile. Alright, that's one side basically done, the bottom basically done. Let's continue up this side, or down it. How does down it sound? And then we work our way across the bottom. Or we could throw the bezel on without any of the glue on there and rattle for the life of the computer. Come on now, you don't want your computer sounding like a computer you got from the budget Santa. You want it to be real and stuck, like something you get from Flat Earth Santa. You know? That's why we're going to this extent. This extreme too. We want that bezel on there. You know when he's flying his sleigh, piloting over the flat earth, it gets into some turbulence. You want the bezel popping off of your infinity edge display. Oh my goodness, you would lose it. Flat Earth Santa, why? How could you rip me on glue? Why? He can't have you saying that. That's why you gotta go to this extent, I'm telling you. Now we're going to be careful when we get to the middle. We have that little lens there for the webcam. We don't want to break it, snap it, pop it, any of the sort. We don't want to stick glue to it, like what almost happened. Alright, let's get this on something that doesn't bend or flex quite like the middle of the box. We'll move it for a moment, work our adhesive past the webcam lens. What do we do? Do we take a Q-tip with goo gone and run around there? Clean up any little bits we might have missed, like this. See that? And then random spots where instead of peeling the adhesive, it cut through it. Do we really need to do it? Let's see what happens. We're going to test one spot. If it starts down the road a too stupid, well then, you know, we'll abandon ship, abandon hope. Alright, so we don't have too much goo going on this thing. We're just going to literally go for the edge and see what happens. Yeah, I honestly feel like I'm making more of a mess than I'm cleaning up right now doing this. Just because all the little tabs and latches where stuff has to lock in, and then getting it on the gloves, and I gotta touch stuff later with the gloves on. Yeah, no, thank you. But it did seem like a good idea to take and try and get some of that off, but there wasn't really that much there. Now what I want to know is the residue there ain't going to let adhesive never stick in that spot. Do we do ourselves in? We could call a stream here. We'll let the whole bezel soak in a pan of goo gun all night. Would that work? Who would be happy about that? Nobody, I tell you. Nobody. I don't know, I just feel like there is enough gone. Let's get our little scraper and go over that spot where we just hit it with our junk remover. Yeah, see, it was still there, still little micro pieces there. We got it all except that one spot. We're going to hit it again. I guess we'll hit it with a paper towel Windex afterward. have some glue stuck to us. Alright, let's go around and wipe all that off. Quickly now. You just want to clean up any of that junk that's not the adhesive, but the residue from the goo remover. We don't want our adhesive not sticking. What is this stuff called? Glass cleaner does not, it evaporates, so it should not leave a residue, and it should also help clean up anywhere we touched with that junk. We hope. One other thing to keep note of when working on your computer, when it's torn apart, look around the bezel for your computer. See if you can see a spot where there's a little magnet. If there is, that's important. That's going to go down, and when your lid closes, that's what switches your laptop off. Don't let that break free or get lost. You will need it very soon in the future when you go to reassemble. And if you don't have it when you close your lid, your laptop's not going to go to sleep, or even know to go to sleep. And let me present to you, is this all of it? We're getting close. I don't know if I can get every piece, but we got most of them. There's all the adhesive that was around the bezel. At least as much as I could find to pick up. Okay. Phase 2. We got to make a choice here. Do we use thick tape that we have to cut down, or do we use thin tape that we don't have to cut down, that is the right size for the edges, just slightly thinner than what we had? Which way do we go with that, honestly? I think everything is off my gloves. Let's lift this tape up, get it stuck down. Alright, I'm going to wind this, nope, we're not. We're just going to cut it right there. Pull and stretch it, peel this piece off and start again. This tape is the same thing as the other. You can run it past where you need it and cut it and trim it, but if it falls to where you don't want it, then you kind of gotta I'm gonna try and do this work very close to where I can see it. I don't want the tape running off the edge like it just did. I'm gonna zoom this camera in so I can put my head down here without suffering any consequences like have it in the way. Running strips of this is fun till it's not, till it starts really fighting you on where it wants to go. It's like no matter how straight you try to lay it, it has something else in mind for where it wants to go. And you gotta get yourself unstuck from it. Laying it out in long straight strips is another good way to do it, but not always as easy as that just sounded when I said it. Alright, we're going to cut that there. And attempt to run down this edge. Hopefully in one piece. Taking a look at the front of the bezel, we don't have any tape exposed. That can be a good thing, I suppose. There's no tape exposed. This stuff does bend and flex on the roll, so when you wind it back, it's lots of fun putting it back. I found this stuff, I know I mentioned it before, but we'll say it again. It's Red Dragon tape is what I looked up. And it works absolutely amazing for whatever size piece you have there. It is sticky and tacky and does what it's supposed to with the minimal amount you can use, I find. Move you over that way, find the end of our tape, and continue on. Why are you going out over the edge? You dummy, get in there. That did, we're gonna have to pull it. Yeah, I see a little bit. What do we do? Pull it or just scrap it? If we can pull it and re-adhere it, we will. I think we just got off track up here toward the top. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay. We'll put this in now. Toward that part. You can get rolls of this also all over eBay and Amazon. Super cheap for the 1, 2, 3 millimeter stuff, but I promise you, this stuff is nowhere near as sticky as these rolls of red tape. Like, I bought so much of that and had iPod screens come back. Just nightmares with screens coming back out and it not sticking, or just getting in a warm room in the sun for a few minutes and a screen falls out. I'm not saying this stuff is infallible and perfect, that this red taped, but it's pretty dang good for what it is. I cannot complain. Did we make that side? Because if we didn't, we're going to run the piece again. I don't see any sticking out, so I say we trust it. Let's get our bezel, or yeah, the rest of our display. And this is going to have to go together. Do we have any screws to put in while I'm thinking of this now? I don't believe so. That just is literally stuck to what it's stuck to, and the rest just comes out. So we'll stay with our white box for now. We need to go to the back, and don't get too crazy with peeling the strips. If you peel too quick or at a weird angle, you're going to take the adhesive with it, and you'll take the adhesive with the backing. Slow, steady. Make sure you got a good grip on the backing, and let the adhesive lay behind. It is there. Do we still got? Yeah, we got sound. All right, I thought the microphone died. One, two. We'll go across the top. Number 3. Nice. Alright, we have all our adhesive. I don't even know if it's even worth showing it. Can we see it? Yeah, it's slowly focusing. That shiny strip around the edge, that's our tacky stuff. We should double up and do a whole new layer just to be 100% sure it's what it is, where it needs to be. We'll let it go. We do have a protective layer on this. Let's look. Getting nervous here. All right, we have our screen wire coming out. Webcam's hooked up. Back display is hooked up. Wi-Fi wires come out. No other screws. Let's peel this. People, I'm not going to answer you right now. Whatever it is, notifications or whatever monkey business is happening over there. I got my own monkey business right here to take care of. Let's line up the webcam. Snap our bottom together. Can we? Close? Kinda, sorta, maybe? Shoulda, woulda? Yeah, it's good. I'm going to start by snapping, if we can get it, this bottom lip together. Which way? Is it that way or that way? That way. Press this bottom piece on. We don't want a lot of flex in our screen when we're snapping this. We don't want to do all over again to it what we're here doing repairing. Let's put those in and then slowly work across our top. Go up this side and work across this top. And that's all in. So far so good. No broken spots. Okay, now I feel like the box is going to do more. The box doesn't move like the mouse pad, but I feel like the box is going to end up doing more damage. So let's begin the madness. Go in, go in. Okay, we have our display. We can get our display to stand there while we match up our hinges. We just have to remember which ones the hinge ones are. Oh, that's right, they're over here. Over here hanging out. Let's get one. Get two. Wrong one, my bad, doesn't go there. It's a different type screw that anchors in there. It's one of the first little screws, the long ones across the back part that you take out. Why are you so zoomed in? You suck. 1, 2. Let's go with 1 and 2. At this point, we have a functioning, working hinge system between our LCD assembly and our palm rest. This is where the fun begins. And we'll be back next week, taking the rest of the week off. Oh my. Now I'm just going to clean out some of this stuff for a moment. Absolutely too much stuff jumping out in the way. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Do I hear car doors banging around? Who's doing that? Who made that noise? Okay, let me think. I can't believe that fell. Alright, motherboard, right? Motherboard? Is that the next piece? In and out? And we had to take the motherboard out to get the speakers out. No, we definitely have to layer this speaker in here. The motherboard goes over top of it. So let's work on that. We're taking a quick breather for some coffee. Let's go see for a moment what is what. I didn't check the chat. Did anybody chat? Nah, nobody ever chats. That's fine. That's fine. Check the YouTube. YouTube is still staying live. Good stuff. Am I on a phone in a pocket being heard? Flatter Santa if that's you. It's gonna take a lot of money to get me back in your workshop. I ain't making them cookies and toys for free. You're out of your mind. Alright, we'll spin that around. We can start taking a look at the cables, I guess. Oh yeah, very good. Okay, we got our hinge system in. You know what I think I'm gonna do though? We're gonna hold up real quick here before we continue down that road of just reassembling crazy without thinking. Because we took those screws out. We're gonna use some of this blue thread locker. Good stuff. It actually legit is on most laptop screws. So we're going to pull out all of our hinge screws one by one. See, look at that. Let's see if we can zoom in and show that. Can you see that? If I put my hand there and that screw there, is it going to focus eventually? See that blue? That's dried up thread locker. So we're going to take and put some more on because we did break the seal. Why do we want to do that? Why might we want to do that? Well, we want these hinges to stay together. Now it's going back together. We don't want it loosening up. So, oh, of course, it always leaks. Always, every time. When does it ever not leak? Alright, and finally we have some, you can see our fresh blue stuff on there. In about, I think, between 5 and 10 minutes time, that stuff will all be nice and dried up, ready to go. And hopefully about then we'll have the laptop getting back together. Or have it getting close to being fully assembled. Probably not. my estimates on time are, it's like based on island time mixed with traveling at light speed. Alright, we got some blue goop. The hinge is a pretty important part. That's why we're going to apply it here. We could put it all over on all the screws because all of them come with it on. However, I don't think the rest of it needs it. But the hinge, this thing's going to be open and closed frequently enough that we at least want this stuff here to work. The hinge, hopefully it'll stay tight. Hinges do loosen up over time too, so that's one better yet reason. You can actually see it came out around that one a little bit. We'll grab our paper towel. It does make a white goopy mess. We'll just soak a little bit up. For our intents and purposes. Last one. Same with that one. Get it off our bit. And lastly, don't forget to seal this stuff up. I think it's like, it might be like $15 or $30 for a bottle of this stuff. It is not cheap, and it does what it does well. If you've ever built RC, or especially stuff that flies, drones, planes, and you got mechanical parts, you're going to want to put some of that on to help keep stuff together. Let's take a look now at our speakers. We know they got to go through. We have Wi-Fi wires to route, and then we have this nuisance of a display cable to bring through here, and latches there. We should be able to bring it. We can bring those through later. Now, no, they have to come through now, as our motherboard, our fan assembly. Let me think about this for a moment now. This is just stupid. We can leave them there to set the motherboard in. That's completely fine. We're only setting the motherboard in. Let's see how much thermal paste we have. We did just reapply this. If we don't have enough, we will. We're going to recycle a little bit of this to put onto the dies. And I didn't actually put a lot on, so there's not really anything to put back up on the dies. Alright, we're going to take a moment, clean this old junk off. Some brands of thermal paste actually come with a little spreader, and people go and spread it out all over the places where it's going to be transitioning between two pieces of metal, or yeah, two pieces of metal, and transferring your heat. I never went for the spread spread out method. It just didn't go for the little goop. That way it seems like you're gonna. Alright, we have our board here. Let's get a little alcohol. Use the dry end to run around and wipe some of that up. A little more alcohol. I'm going to clean up around. And the newer, better, I guess newer and tackier of shape this thermal compound is in will depend on how easy it is to clean up around all the little capacitors and stuff. What do we have brush-wise? Can we soak some up with this? I don't know that I have a brush that's going to work. I would like to get it out from beside all those capacitors, and I don't want to ruin the one teeny tiny little, very old school lens, like camera. Destroy that to brush that stuff off. Let me see what else we have here. Yeah, nothing great. Alright, well, we'll go for a couple more Q-tips and get as much as we can cleaned off of around the GPU. There's just all those little capacitors there. It can be a bit of a nightmare cleaning it up. Alright, looks good. And there's a lot of good live monkey asses here doing a live stream. There's a lot of stuff I would love to see right now. Alright, we don't need to go crazy. We still have some on the our cooling system, so we'll go with that now. Wow, cart ahead of the horse, man, cart ahead of the horse. How about you spin this thing around the way it goes? And then we'll talk. And then we'll talk crazy business. What? Alright, there's that. There's that. Get out of there. That's out. We need the one for the power switch out as well. And we have to do this a bit of a different way. This side goes in first with your HDMI, USB, Ethernet, and whatever else. Lift this up, move that one. There it is. Alright, now we need to start routing cables. Get in there. That will go around. Oh no, I didn't. Oh my goodness. Always wait till you need to do it before you spread out thermal compound. We just destroyed a glove and the stuff I put on there. Alright, let's wipe my glove off. We got it everywhere. Let's wipe this off. We're actually going to leave it on the die. Oh. Right, that part's cleaned up. Now we're going to go for cleaning off the gloves at least a little. We don't want to spread this stuff out. Did get it on our cable. Is that a snowplow? What are you guys doing? Sharpening that blade? I didn't hear Flat Earth Santa say plow the roads, sharpen the blade. There's no snow out there. Are you kidding me? Alright, so we got, without peeling all this black stuff off, and making an absolute mess out of everything. Not a mess, but how do I want to say it? As much of a non-mess, I suppose, as we could get at this point. Right, let's feed this one under. Yeah. It would definitely make a little bit of a mess. Trying to clean all that up. Yo, what is that? And where did they go? Okay. This one goes in, then the other, and they both come down under. Alright, let's play follow the leader. And there's one. Here comes number 2. Let's feed those out that way. Display is out that way. Yeah, I think it will go right. Try and go right there for the time being. Let's get this flipped over and ready to go on so we quit nuking that thermal compound all over the place. We're going to make life a little bit easier on ourselves right now. This does go here, but go where? No way. Yep, it spaces out underneath. We'll set that in. I forgot that last time. Didn't forget to put it in, I just forgot to put it in at a good moment. Alright, there's our cables. We will pull them up through. We need to set this down carefully. Perhaps not yet though, as our display cable. There it is. Everything's lining up. Let's put the screws into our heat spreader. Let's find some numbers, 1 and 2. We need to get this out of the way. That will lay down later. One, 2, 3, and 4. Five, 6, and 7. That will come around. Everything is perfect right there. I dig it. We need 1 of these screws, not 2. It's actually going to hold down our DC jack plate that mounts there and holds everything in place. Alright, let's think for a moment. We have some cabling to run. A little bit of cabling to run. We have our Wi-Fi card that we can get connected. Do our daughter board ribbon cable for the time being. While we're here, we don't have to run anything under it that I'm aware of. Go ahead and flip that up. and work on feeding it in properly where it needs to go. Let's not forget this one back here. I do have a little blob of thermal paste that will clean up there. Remember, the keyboard wasn't very fun last time getting it to line up and go in, and it's even crooked this time, so let's see if we can't get it to go in real perfect and hit where it needs to. Got it that trip around. Let's get this bit of thermal compound there out of the way before we start laying our hand in it and repeatedly touching down other places. Good. Everything else seems good. What is that? I know what you are. You're going back where you came from. You are a little piece of Kapton tape that needs to stay there to hold that in place. Alright. I don't know which way to go. No matter which way you go, it's all a nightmare. We got to get this display cable in with as little hassle as possible. It needs to line up. I think there's enough room to put it in, latch this, and then hopefully start routing our cables. Indeed. Alright. We'll plug our fan in. Start taking inventory of some of this stuff. We have to route our Wi-Fi cables through, and ideally, how many did they actually put through that spot? That's what I want to know. They had 2. Ideally, it's 1 and 1 for the Wi-Fi cables, but the one spot's way too big, and it just doesn't remind me of, yeah, that goes there and works. And if that's the case, how did they route this other one? Lots of questions here, if you haven't noticed. Let's take out our Wi-Fi screw. Go for reattaching the antenna. Now we do have to spin the card, plug it in, and reattach it there. Right after we do this Wi-Fi card, I think we're gonna go for, I don't want to say it, some of the silver screws to hold the motherboard down. I have a few things holding that in place. That should be okay there. We do have to take time to route those a little different. Let's do that now. What do we do? 1 then 2, 2 then 1. They got looped on each other. And there's part of the reason. Okay, they're not tucked in where they need to be. And we gotta route this under. Let's pop these up out. Go up and under there. Back feed it. And then we get all the room we need. Okay. Let's try and go in and take a look at this just to see. Okay, so our Wi-Fi wires and what is that? Speaker wire come up, have to go through here between the fan and the screw, under the tab. The fan wire or speaker wire stays there. The Wi-Fi wires route through this little rubber block here, run up, wrap around and get tucked in beside the card. If I zoom out a little, there we go, we got the full view. I don't know that those just couldn't lay there, because they're definitely not getting tucked in under anything and having room to come back up, and they don't have the bends in them that show that they were jammed down under something. They do have a little bit of a bend, but there's no bend where they came back up over the board, and there's literally like no room to stick them anywhere. We will leave them like that for the time being. Alright, we have a couple black screws that need put in, some silver screws. Here's our motherboard. Are we entirely sure? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there goes 1. 2. 3, 4. Let me check. Does the hard drive screw down there? I don't think it does. Or the placeholder. No, it doesn't. Okay, we need to route a fan, which no matter which way you want to do this, it is a nightmare. Let's get our tweezers, grab this, turn it around, and get it tucked in. I think the better way to do this thing would be do the connector and then route the wire. pins at the top, pins at the top. That side looks pretty good. We have a screw there to put in. We have one to put in the fan here. And then we can start putting our metal covers on. Gotta make sure the wire is out of the way. Do not want to start pinching any wires. That's never a good thing. You have one black screw for the fan on the other side there. I'll zoom this view out a little to start catching the bigger parts of reassembly. Coffee if you got it, do it. Alright, we're going to check our one shield. Alright, everything's good there. 1, 2. Okay, the one screw holds it in. Fair enough. We should only have 2. Whole teardown process, I did not find one, and on the build back up. I did not find silver screw and a black screw that were mixed up. No silver screw or black screw that were mixed up. However, I think I see, just for the tearing it down sake of things, why they went the route that they actually did. Just for simplicity, tearing it apart, remembering if you just happen to like to be tearing it apart and setting the stuff to the side. Your three black ones that hold this on, and three black ones that hold this one on, they just, you know, one of them's hidden and they don't really have an extension here. But so one's actually out of place, where these two are black, these two are not. And that will go up. Perfect. What else do we have here? What kind of monkey business is going on here? Let's go ahead and put these in. Sorry about smashing my head into that again. I'm getting better at it. Awesome. Alright. These parts are just, like I said, you just kind of got to get it in place. Or how do we do these back on? Oh yeah, same way you take it off. You find the little cutout part, that channel there. That channel will slide over your hinge. It kind of puts it in the place you need it. You're going to have it at an angle, as such. And then literally rock it up into place. When you do, it's going to snap over that little thing. And you should be able to tell if it goes into place properly or not. Same thing on this side. Snap it up. Snap the end on. We'll look at the top to be sure that, oh, we got some cleanup there, that everything's lining up along this seam. If it is, it's snapped together and you are good to go on putting your one, two, and third screw in, the two short ones and then the long one. So let's go ahead for that. Long screw will go there, helps hold the whole body of the laptop together. I would be really pissed though if we just happen to get a defective screen. The place where we order screens, and same place that we ordered this one, I don't know if they test them or not. But I would be super pissed if it was defective. Not broken or something, just defective and a bulb blew in it or something, you know, something ridiculous. But hey, I'm gonna tear it back apart again. I'm actually gonna believe that it's gonna work in this case. And go with what the outcome is. We're getting closer. Okay, let's go ahead and, not yet, we're gonna wait on that to put the battery in. We'll go for this little placeholder. And basically placeholder, it just literally, it takes up the room of a spot in the computer. Now say, whatever, do I even have it handy? It's probably stuffed in another computer. Okay, this one ain't no good, but say we were gonna put this SSD in my friend's computer. This one has a whole burn in it where it caught on fire inside, but say we were gonna put it in here. We would literally, okay, take these metal rails off, mount them on this SSD, okay, take our little adapter here that is kind of sort of stuck down, but our adapter would plug onto the SSD, rails on, the SSD would sit in this spot, or you could use a, how do I want to say it, like a, oh, there's a word I'm looking for, I just don't know it. And sit right about there, okay. Conventional hard drive, a little spinny hard drive, like your normal average hard drive out of a laptop, your 5400 RPM or whatever. Yeah, you can put one of these in. Not going to stand up to bumps and bangs, but they're pretty reliable for going into laptops. Not as durable as SSDs, but yeah, all that is literally, you don't get a hard drive, so they just put something in place to hold the rails there. Little placeholder, and it's also kind of like another way to put some branding in there. I've never seen a crazy placeholder like that, but hey, there's a lot of stuff that flat Earth Santa has not shown me yet. Flat Earth Santa. I just mixed Flat Earth Santa and a computer term. That's what you get. That's what you get in the center of Pennsylvania. Alright, this is getting dumb. This is on the level of super dumb. I'm going to take and flex that blue thing up so we can get at it. Lined up, we'll go ahead and attach that down. What color is it? And there's 3 screws, it's silver, so let's go for the 3 silver ones that we have laying over here. 1, 2, and 3. This one gets covered by a black battery tab, so the black is up, and thus it will have a black screw. What now? Oh, you think he wants his battery back? My friend, do you want your battery back in your computer? You do? Okay. We heard you. We heard you. Everything's good there. Let's put the screws in. And that's why I said we'll leave it out for now. The RAM, that tab needs to slot under there. Just ease of installing, I suppose. We have our SSD with this little metal bracket that covers it, just to give these are very flimsy PCBs. They bend easy. The whole thing's down here, but this is just, they really do bend super easy. So that's just, moron support. Let's pull that out. We'll put our M.2 SSD back in place. Is it an NVMe? Toshiba Memory Corporation model, blah 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 blah. 256 gigabyte NVMe. So yes, an NVMe M.2 drive, Toshiba branded. It's basically, and if you get confused, this will not plug in the wrong way. Even though you have, let's take a look at it. Even though you have 2 tabs there, come on, focus, stupid camera. Even though you have 2 tabs there, you have more pins on one side than the other. And you might be able to force it and break your slot, but if it don't just plug in easy, it's wrong. Flip it over and go ahead and put it in the right way. Now we need this there, line up. All the tabs, and go ahead and put the last screw in. And this is more or less an impact on the bottom of the laptop. If it would hit, it's going to be harder to bend with that there and the bottom on than if it was just the bottom and that. It's still, if you break through the bottom, you're probably going to bend that aluminum and the PCB for your solid state drive. It literally just sets on this end, no screws, anything. It can't, because that's where the socket is. There's no way to slot it in to lock it down. However, it's not what it's there to do. Okay, before we start putting the cart ahead of the horse and slamming the bottom on, we're missing no screws except for the ones that hold the bottom on. That's good news. That's what we want. Those screws too go in last. The bottom on. Do we test it, or do we just put the bottom on and say it's good? It's good. It's gonna work. Trust that we got a good part. Who's out there to give me input? We just put it in, just cause. Just do it. Pull the chat back up. All right, let's move our trusty black mat for the moment. Battery is in. Use the cup to prop up the front of this. We don't want it sitting down, letting the fan spin against the tabletop. We'll give a turn on shot, see what happens here. CMOS checksum is invalid, so we had unplugged our battery. The CMOS will be reset to the default configuration, will be rebooted. Please check your BIOS setup options to see if they change. Enter to reboot the system. We're going to let it reboot. We will go into the BIOS. It should be F10. We'll just check our time, check over the BIOS options. Alright, we don't want to save changes and exit. So the date on this thing did switch over to 1/1/2019, not today's date. So let's go ahead and set, more importantly, if we turn the light out and get the glare off the screen, we don't have a big glaring black spot with a line in the middle and the bottom. What time is it? Is this dummy doing military time or what time? So right now it is 9:18. So if we're going to add 12 to that, 12 and 9. It's going to be what, 21? Let's see if we can type 21 in. Okay, can we do 09? Oh yeah, okay, so it will do 21. 21:09, we'll say 10. 33 is good. Hit enter and go down to our date, which is going to be 12/16. Is it really the 16th? Is that a likely, legit, real story? It is? It is. So counter down to 16, 19, hit enter to save it. Nothing else really we need to change there. Our security should be good. Configuration. Battery remaining time disabled. Okay. It's a weird setup, but okay. Boot options, 0 seconds. Network boot protocol. Oh, it's disabled. And then we have secure boot enabled, boom, exit. Save changes and exit. Let's hit yes. Now we're going to set this back down on the mighty kitty cup. The mighty kitty cup. We got an HP logo with a spinny for booting into Windows. Getting Windows ready. Do not turn off your computer. If you do, the world shall cease to exist. You don't know what you could do. It could be bad. It'd be bad for everybody. Alright. Again, looking good, except for the bright glare from the bright lights that we have in here. We do run daylight crazy bright. Blind you out. Lights. Let's go ahead. We're going to power this down and put the bottom on. Update and shut down again. Shut down anyway. Alright, computer is doing what it does. In the process of shutting down, we're going to get my drink out. Enjoy some of that. Let's see if this thing has turned off. Okay, it was this one that's on. Indeed, it is off. Let's get our light back on. We're going to close this carefully. Flip it over on its back on our trusty black mat. Everything's good. Battery's plugged in. You know what? We're going to do it now because it's in a weird spot. When you mess up and with thermal compound, I'm telling you, you will make a mess. Do not be surprised when you do. Just got a little bit on the speaker. I don't want to leave that there. Not that it would be seen, it's going to be covered, but alright. So far so good. We don't want to press too hard on that top display. We just fixed that part, so we'll open it up and do our snapping from the body. What are you? Are you in the way? What are you doing? Set it down before we do this. Get the thermal compound off. We'll pop this up and see what it is that's giving us grief right here. Just a tough tab. Okay. Just one that wanted to test finger strength versus plastic movability. Understandable. We'll open that up and check that. I want to make sure everything's latched in. Indeed it is. Almost. Almost. Alright, first things first. We're going to make sure thermal paste and everything possible is gone. We probably won't get that spot out. I don't imagine that we will. Probably not any time. This century it does stain and go in, and it won't transfer once it's stained to that point, but any of the loose stuff, we have no interest in it. There's another big blotch of it. If it was going to transfer, it would 100% transfer over to white. Alright, with that done and out of the way, oh, we might have suffered one casualty. As careful as you can be, you still end up with some sometimes. I'm going to keep the alcohol away from those stickers. I don't want it to start lifting them. And once it soaks in enough, we're going to take it across the keys. It did soak in quite a bit. We'll hit that area lightly. There you have it. HP gaming computer for sale locally. Come get it now. It's cheap. Cheap. $500. It can be yours. Alright, anyhow, there's my friend's computer fixed up. We did suffer a minor casualty. You're going to get input on it. If it's bad, if it's too bad, I'll be buying a top lid. I am the person that worked on it. And this is something I fully believe. If you touch it, if you touch it at all, you own it. Like, if something happens while you're working on something, you touch it, you own it, you fix it. So we'll see. If it's not livable or unsatisfactory, you'll be seeing me putting a new top lid on this thing, which means all over again a whole new, what do you call those? A whole new live stream of disassembly, complete disassembly too. And the final one. I don't know, I thought it looked better with this than the other, but I could be massively wrong. I'm just trying to get everything wiped off of it. It always leaves a little something behind, it seems. Yeah. So we got to check in with this guy, see what his words are. Feelings on the matter, where he's at with it. Dude, thank you for letting me tear your computer apart not once, but twice on a live stream. Have a good rest of your evening. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time it is. When you get here, if you're here now, in the future, thank you, my friends. Hanging out, getting your hands dirty, clicking that link, coming on over. And so we don't break the DC jack, be very careful. We have no glaring spot anywhere. A very nice new display. Real quick, we're going to check one thing I should have checked. And I guess we'll do that for the stream too. I thought it would, but I wasn't sure. That's why I had to check now, kind of after the fact. The brightness does work as expected to take and dim it down and brighten it back up. Some computers go all the way out, like MacBooks. This isn't a Mac, this is a PC, so there you have it. If this is your thing, you do this, tinker, fix, repair, whatever it is. Share it, get it out there, show somebody what you're doing, fix something for somebody. Share this, like this, get this out there as well. I'm going to start working on setting up a Discord server. I know live chat I would have to stop doing to type, so Discord possibly could get some people in talking. Not entirely sure, I might work on it, but we're much too busy right now to do it. So anyhow, have a good evening. Thank you for watching. Hopefully the teardown, as convoluted and long as it was, either one of the teardowns, hopefully they help somebody. If you have to tear apart an HP Pavilion 15-DK0068WM gaming PC, that's how you tear down this particular model. See you tomorrow for another whole new train wreck. Oh my God. Flat Earth Santa, why? Where's mine? Where's mine? You should have brought me one. I wanted one. Damn it. Damn it, Santa.